fancy intro music. Yeah! Woo! Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be talking about the trait system that was added to the away teams. Now this is like away teams 2.0 and it was a pretty big deal. We mentioned it a little bit in the patch 34 release notes that I put out, but we need to take an in-depth dive because there's more to this than I think a lot of people realize. And even in this video, we're not going to be able to cover everything because it really is that long-term game-changing thing. Now, I will say a couple quick points. Right now, whatever you're doing, stop spending that XP. Hold off on it till at least the end of this video where you get a better idea of how this mechanic works and where you should focus on it, because as you can guess, with any type of currency and anything that's new, there's a limited amount that you can get. And as you need to go through and get the best outcomes that you possibly can in these trait-based away missions, well, you need to make sure that you're going to the right direction. So in this video, we hope to cover 3 topics. 1, we're going to go over the basics of the new away teams trait system, how it works, what all it entails, and what you can do with it. 2, we're going to be talking about officers that line up directly with certain missions in terms of they were made to be the best at this with their traits to give you the highest critical chance to have success. And then 3, we're going to go over a quick list where, if y'all remember, we've worked with the officer tool team and Stewie Doo. We've also added the J to the partner program as well, that we have the whatever program we want to call that. But anyway, the officer tool, where we're going to show you some of the traits of all the different officers, and we'll have a prettier version out, but you'll see the rough draft in the 3rd part of this video. So part 1, let's start with the fact that there is a store now. Now you can get to this a couple ways, but just go to your alliance, click store, and at the very bottom you'll notice away teams. So one of the new currencies in the game is this one up here at the top, the away teams credit. It can be used to purchase blueprints for faction ships, or right now rep. Hopefully this will become a store where more things can be added into it. Other types of ships, ship parts, maybe even independent credits, whatever. But for now, I'm just going to use it to get some more rogue reputation, because I haven't maxed out my rogue, and DJ shames me for this constantly. Stop shaming me, DJ. I feel bad enough. Anyway, so you've got the store part of this, but the main part is obviously inside the away missions tab itself. Now, of course, you're going to see a multitude of mission types. You see my epics at the top. I've got rares. I've got this rescue attempt mission that I've not done. I've been holding on to for like 3 months. Not for any particular reason, just holding on to it. Then you got these new ones, these rainbow ones, which are part of the things that we unlock in our away missions tab. And then, of course, you just see some uncommons there at the bottom. Now, real quick, if you didn't already, in your gift chest, you will have gotten the token needed to go into your research tab. And I'll click this here to start the researches for your traits. Now, it's in the away teams. Start one right here is away team atmospheric stabilizer, level 15. There's a level 25 one and a level 39 one, 3 in total, which are basically giving you 3 of these away missions to run. Right now, I am running 2. So let's talk about the basics of the system and how it works in the away teams menu itself. So if I click, let's click Address the High Council. It's a Klingon-based one. You see at the very far right, they're critical traits. Now, the critical traits are doing nothing but improving your critical chance. But what you'll notice is each officer has got these little dots next to them. You got, for me, Gorkon has 2 white dots and 1 blue. The white dot signifies that you have the trait that is desired by the mission, but you have not unlocked it. The blue trait signifies that you have spent the resources to unlock it, and I did with my Gorkon. So if I hit my upgrade menu, go into my Gorkon menu, you'll see I've unlocked the Chancellor to level 1. Now, this is a good card. This matches up directly with Address the High Council. Epics have 3 traits, rares have 2 traits, uncommons have 1 trait, commons have none. So Gorkon is a complete match to this mission, and we'll talk about that in just a second, including some of the important ones to focus on. But if I put Gorkon up here and I assign the officer, there's a 5% crit bonus. Now that's because I've got Chancellor level 1. Now you can't get the other ones until you upgrade them. So let's just say I want to do that upgrade process. I'm going to go in now. I'm going to level up that trait to trait 2. Now I don't have the ability to take it to 3 yet, but I have to get there before I can unlock Ruthless and then Relentless. But anyway, we've leveled up, so let's head on back. So now I've leveled up to that being trait 2. Now I've got a 10% crit chance on this payout, and then I would simply sort by attack, or I could go for the one that he doesn't have. So you can see that top right dot is empty. I could look for dedicated, and I can show y'all how to look for dedicated in a second, but what we're just going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start this mission, and we'll worry about that later. But you will see, like Gorkon here, specific officers that have a particular affinity for a particular mission. Here's an example, and I talked about this in the live stream. 10 of 10 is the perfect officer for the Borg away mission that we have, because its 3 traits, assimilated, minor, and fluffy, line up perfectly with that mission. In fact, that mission only has those 3. And what you'll find is, when you're going through the away teams, let's say that you had 3 Borg officers, so you'd have 3 assimilated. Well, it takes the highest level one, and they do not stack. They don't stack. So what you see is what you get. And if you're going for example, this mission, then 10 of 10 becomes the most important card for this mission, which is honestly one of the most important away missions in the game. And it is important to know that these traits don't stack. So if I had like a Gorkon and then another one, I'm sorry, let's just use this. If I had 10 of 10 and 5 of 10 who are both assimilated, it's only going to use who is the highest ranking assimilated, and that's it. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about that as you go through the 3 trait system, and some of these missions require more than that. And these are just a couple of examples. There are a couple of others. For example, Sharvanik is one that matches up directly with a mission, and that is, I believe, Imperial Strategy. Imperial Strategy, she matches up perfectly, which is a Romulan-based mission, just like you have a Klingon-based one here with Gorkon. Another one would be Gary Mitchell. Gary Mitchell's 3 lights up perfectly with Explore the Galactic Barrier. Why is that a particularly enticing, you might ask? I'm sure you're curious, right? Are you curious? Well, let me show you why you should be curious. I'm actually going to change this on the screen right now, live in front of your face. Not even going to do any cool edits. Look at this. Bam. All right, I actually should put it on the screen. My bad, y'all. Bam. Okay, so you see Gary Mitchell, perfect for this one. Why is this important? Look at the crit chance and look at the reward. That's TOS Spock. So what we've seen, especially for some of our level 40 plus players, is that they're able to get a lot of officer shards by blowing through the trait system. Now, if you're a free-to-play player, it will take you time to unlock some of these, and that's understandable. That's fine. Even this Gary Mitchell is not fully unlocked. But as you can see, the critical chance is up to 35%, and that chance would pay out 12 officer shards. And as we've seen in this game, that is a lot of moolah in terms of worth and value. So it's important to start studying these traits and finding officers that matter. You know, Gorkon is one, Gary Mitchell is one, Sharvanik, 10 of 10, Harry Mudd is one for if you want a Latin mission and a Burnham mission, a time heist. Eurydice is one for a couple of Latin missions. So what we'll do is, hopefully by next week, the officer tool will have a big update that comes out that will list some of these that you can use. But what I want to do first is I'm just going to throw this on the screen. This is a very basic Excel sheet that we have set up for you. And we will have a better version in the officer tool here soon. But the point of this sheet is to allow you to see some of the rare traits in the game. As you can see on the side, there are some traits that are only active on one officer. For example, Android. I wonder who that could be. It's Data. And then you get like the empath ability down here, empathic. That's Deanna Troi. So there are some officers that only have, or some abilities that only connect to one particular officer. Fluffy. The only Fluffy is 10 of 10. So if we actually go through and pick something like that, let's just say we want to pick Captain. Well, that's a tier 1 trait with 5 particular officers. Let's say that we want to do Charismatic. It's a tier 2 trait that has 6 officers, and it's important to learn this based on the type of away missions that you're going to be focusing on in the game to try to get the best bang for your buck. As you can see, some of the ones in the background are like that. What I want to do real quick is let me collapse this and look at one of our epics. So we talk about being level 39, getting to these epics. Well, this one pays out uncommon. Now, for me, it pays out 4-star uncommon, which is valuable, but you'll see a version of this. Minor, Scientist, Surveyor, Augment. So you can sit here at the bottom and just kind of scroll through and see how many dots line up. But you, at the same time, if there's a rare version, you're probably going to want to find an easier way to start getting, okay, where is this mission line up to? How can I really go into it and find it? And as you would guess, a mining officer like Barrett lines up perfectly with that. And they've got Minor and Surveyor. And then you see there's an Augment version. See the Augments right here. They've got that top right. And then there's a Scientist one. So you got a few different options here when it comes to sorting through this. But all of this is very important to getting you what you need. For example, this, Burrell, maybe you're working on this Roostas ceremony, which, as you might recognize, is a Klingon mission, but dedicated warrior and reliable are the notes. Yet that's not what Gorkon has. But there are a lot of officers in this game that have the warrior trait. And let me show it to you. So if we scroll down here into the list that was made, shout out to Stewie Doo. Look at all the warriors. I think it was like 15 of them that are here. Now remember, they don't stack. You can only really use one. But being able to pick out, okay, who in this list is best? Well, Sharvanik, we've already mentioned being very, very important. And hey, guess what? It's an epic. But you also look at some of these uncommons. Is it worth upgrading morale in terms of their traits? Morale in terms of their traits, or maybe even upgrading Claw as a trait, or spinning that on Jayla, spinning that on Marcus, and finding out where these traits line up so they can be very effective and useful for you. I hope to have this full project released to you by next week, and I hope this helped explain how the away team's new trait system works and how important it can really be to your game long term for sourcing. No, this is not enough in terms of new officer and new ship sourcing, but it is a good mechanic that might have gotten overlooked because of how displeased we are with TNG Arc 5 as a whole. Anyway, I want to know what you think in the comment section below. So as always, drop your comments, drop your helpful hints, drop anything that you want, and wow, we just lost an Armada. Rip, yikes, oof, but we'll be back. Deuces, that's me. Live long and prosper. Catch you on the next one. Stay safe, other Space Cowboys, and I'm outie.
Fancy intro music, yeah!